Right, we're alive. Let's get ourselves up and running because we've got a big show today. Lots of stuff to chat about, lots of things to do, and obviously big news tomorrow's racing, and that is going to be at Greyville. But not only in South Africa, Greyville, we are also racing in England for the first day. We've got Newcastle, a 10 race program. So there's lots going on as far as the racing is concerned. There's a great program at Greyville on the poly track. We've got 9 races and very competitive racing. And I'll be doing my podcast. The Interbet podcast will be live at about 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And that will give you all the information that I can help you with in trying to find some winners. And it could be very difficult. The interesting thing about Greyville Polytrack after a bit of a break is that we'll probably find that it's hello Vivek, nice to have you on the show. We'll probably find that the Polytrack would run pretty fast. I would think it'd probably been a bit compacted in the last 2 months, and I'm pretty keen to see how it goes. The first 3 races will give us a very good idea of what we're looking for as far as pick sixes are concerned, and trying to work out as a big pick six pool, and certainly worth getting involved in. Just talking about the show, and this is what's very disappointing, is that we have 580 odd subscribers, but the people that watch the show, more than 80% have not subscribed. Now, it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. You press the subscribe button when you go on to Winning Ways show, and then you press the bell, which will notify you that we're getting the that you're getting some new information. And I would think it's quite important for all of you out there to certainly share it with all your friends so that you know exactly what's going on, and you get the information first without having to read it on the channels. You know, we do use social media quite extensively to notify you, but we do need subscribers, and it costs nothing, and I really would like you all to subscribe. Let's chat quickly before we get Kirra Kotzen on the show. She's going to be chatting to us about her initiative. But I'm interested in this this supposed furore that, as Turf Talk put it, racebook versus form grids. Now, I'm not sure that's a one versus the other at all. What it was is that it was a discussion with the founder of Form Grids as to why he found that his platform wasn't getting the traction they should have been getting, and how he saw that maybe other people had copied his show. Now, the first thing I want to read you is the terms of use of racebooks, and it quite categorically says here, Racebook, Gold Circle, Kenilworth Racing, Pumalala Gaming and Leisure, the company, maintain this website for the purposes of providing betting information and data and live and delayed audio visual coverage of horse races. That's the first thing in their terms and conditions. Now, Devon Moller came and wrote a long letter. We did invite Devon Moller and Grant Knowles and anyone that was involved with Racebook. I know Van might have been involved, Van Smith, who's on the task team, to come on the show, and I'd certainly love to chat to them, because if you feel that I haven't given a broad-based perspective and it's one-sided, well, then I'm offering you the opportunity to come on the show, as with Hilton Fitz. He's often got a lot of derogatory things to say about a lot of things in racing, and I offered him the opportunity to come on the platform, and I'd love to have people like this on, because it would lead to lively debate. Fortunately, I know enough about this industry and have been involved long enough to be able to debate anything with anyone. And so that was the first thing. The terms and conditions were worrying. And, what Devon was at pains to point out is that they built it as an interactive site for owners and trainers and the like to be able to give comments and this and then the other. And that might have been all well and good, but certainly the tack was changed. And in their dealings with Rob Scott and Larry Weinstein, and of which they didn't say they had much, but the terms and conditions show that they're obviously well in bed with them. We were certainly told that the tack changed quite considerably to make it a form site, race books, and they seem to have the same type of layout as form grids, which made them look like a copycat. The other thing that was very interesting is that they were pains to say that's what they did. But 1 month after race, form grids went down due to a computer hack, and they know a lot about the way form grids is set up as far as their server is concerned, because it was written there in Diva Moller's content. They then put on this site, which is, as quite clearly says the first line of the terms and conditions, it is helps the punters. So, that seemed to look like, I would have thought, some type of gap that was taken. And really, if they weren't ready, which they said they weren't ready, then certainly you wouldn't be putting on a site that is not ready, unless you wanted to get a jump on the opposition, which is obviously at that stage of the game was form grids was the opposition. Anyway, form grids is up and running now again, so all of you that love form grids will be able to go on it. Now let's go and look at a bit of the news as far as what's been happening in racing around the world. We had Hong Kong today, very interesting, and Chad Schofield won the big race on Kiang Star. So nice to see that. It was the Chairman's Cup. And then we had South African interest in the form of a horse called Armando, who won the nursery in Cape Town. He was a nursery winner, he was unbeaten. And he ran a cracking good race. He ran fourth over a sprinting trip for Tony Millard and Carice Teeton. I thought it was an outstanding run, and certainly worth following. Armando will be in my black book for the future. He was all at sea turning into the straight, got pulled out on the outside, and really made good progress the last 400 meters. Hong Kong's great. The racing's excellent there. Beautifully presented too. Right, what else we got? John O'Kelly, our friend, the auctioneer from England. He works for Tattersalls, and he's just been on a trip to see yearlings in France and Germany, and it's fabulous how he did it. John O'Kelly, he's a wonderful guy. He hired a camper so that he didn't have to fly or couldn't fly. So he drove all over Germany and France. He visited 5 studs. He looked at 155 yearlings for Tattersalls. He lives in Belgium, so he drove from Belgium to Germany and then to France, and went to see the yearlings. And it was very interesting to see how he did it. He said that his wife made him cook meals, so he had prepared meals. He sanitized, he did everything that we need to do. And obviously all the stuff's going to be happening with the COVID, whatever. Hello, Mohammed. Nice to have you here as well. Mo Sheikh, nice to be with you on our show. Santa Anita. Owners are allowed to go and watch horses gallop at Santa Anita, work in the mornings. If you remember the California Horse Racing Board Owners Association, you're allowed to go and watch. You get a pass and you go and sit in the grandstand, social distancing, whatever, and you'll be able to maybe chat to your trainer on the phone. There is a coffee shop, there are toilets open and ablution blocks and whatever, and which are going to be sanitized regularly. But that I found fascinating. And Joe D'Amato, who's the International Racing Club, made a plea on Sporting Post, and I thought it was well worthwhile reading, because he said, please show the horses in the parade ring, give them a bit of time each, and show the horses cantering down. So all those owners that cannot see their horses live on the racetrack are able to end up going to see them on the television screen, which is what you'd like to do. Everyone that's involved wants to get a good look at each of the horses, and if they strap them properly and they present them properly, and the presenter, whoever that may be, gives proper form information and keep the personal stuff out. That's my opinion. I'm going to tell you, as far as, and I've been a presenter, so I know, keep the personal stuff out. Let the punter know what he needs to know. Talk about the horse, the jockey, the trainer, the statistics, whatever is going to help a chap pick out a winner. Give them information. Don't give them personal information. You don't need to tell everyone how friendly or clever you are with this guy, that guy, or the other guy. That's my beg to you guys. Make it professional. Give information. Right. Fasig Tipton, they're going online. They've got an online sale, 550 entries, Mid-Atlantic sale. Keeneland are also doing the same for their horses in training sale. Very interesting to see that those guys are all on board. And we're just waiting for Kirra. She should be joining us any moment now. What else have we got? It's big, the racing. It's big that we're getting out there. We've got Monday Gravel, Tuesday Vol, and we've got Kirra on the phone. So let's say hello to her. Hello, Kirra.
Hi.
Is that you?
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, loud and clear. I think everyone can hear you. And as you're pleased to know, we don't have to do a video call because I do know how bad the Wi-Fi is on that farm. I've tried to talk to your father on a number of occasions. So just let's firstly talk about your parents. Your father's Glenn, obviously.
Yes, that is correct.
And your mother, the most glamorous lady on the race course for big days. I've never seen a more glamorous woman than Kathy. So you got quite a good bunch of people above you.
I do indeed. I'm extremely grateful for that. My parents are wonderful people, so I'm very grateful to have them and to follow in their footsteps one day, hopefully.
Now, are you on Wood Hill at the moment? You're obviously born and bred on Wood Hill.
I wasn't, actually. We've only been at Wood Hill for 18 years. So before that, we lived in Philippines. So I only moved here when I was about 4 years old.
Good gracious, I only thought you were 18.
No, I'm slightly older.
Okay. And so you've seen the development of Wood Hill, which is a wonderful training establishment up there. Where's it, Lower Paarl or something in that sort of area?
In Achterpaarl, yes, yeah. In Achterpaarl.
Achterpaarl. And you've got some quite good neighbours. I know the Johnsons live not far away from you.
They do, and just across the road we've got Fastfontein.
Yeah, so you're quite close with them as well.
Exactly, I am very close.
Now,
Fastfontein is a step away from us, literally.
Are you very au fait with what goes on in your yard? Do you do any work for them? Do you help them at all?
I don't personally help them in the running of the yard. I do like to have a look at what happens there and gain some feedback. I do follow the vets around and ask them to explain, which is I act as like a little bit of a shadow because I think it's very interesting. I go to track work in the morning. I was there this morning with my dad, with our assistant trainers Des and Wesley, and I help my mom out in the summer season with events.
Okay, and your brother Kyan, he's one of the flash boys on the race course as well.
He is too. Much to his dismay, he doesn't look too flash at the moment. I don't think any of us do. But he does work for my parents too.
And he's quite involved in the yard as well, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He is very involved with the goings on. He's very proactive. He's a very good attribute to the yard.
Yeah, I'm wondering who's got the brains in the family, you or him?
We often joke about that, but I'm going to be modest and say myself.
You don't have to be modest. I've been told that you're the one that's got the brains, but he's a party animal, isn't he?
Reasonably. I think the Kotzens do know how to have a good party, but we all do know when it's time to call it a day.
And your favorite tipple, what do you like drinking?
What do I like drinking?
Yeah.
I'm a huge gin fan. I love gin. And also champagne. So actually after this interview, we might just pop some champagne.
Well, I think that would be a wonderful idea to pop some champagne because racing's about to start. You obviously all very excited. All the horses well and ready. Anything that we can back on Wednesday?
We are all ready to go. We have 17 runners on Wednesday, which is fantastic. I think it's as busy as Met Day, so we're all clipping, fluffing our feathers and getting ready to go. To be honest, I haven't looked at the fields, but I do know my dad does have a good chance, like every other trainer.
Well, we're all dying to get back to racing, and trainers, jockeys, owners all need the money. Now, what you did was you started an initiative for the jockeys that were battling called Save Our Jocks. Tell us how that came about.
Well, it really just started as a conversation. I think everyone in South Africa has always been, especially in horse racing, we're all questioning, when are we going to start racing again? What implications are going to be in place? And I know, through my parents and, other race goers and people involved in the industry, that there was finances coming through in terms of for your trainers. Queens were still being able to work. Luckily, trainers were getting support from their patrons. But I know firsthand through my wide circle of friends in racing that jockeys, they weren't getting any income, and being self-employed, they rely on every single race to gain their income, and to go full stop on the 26th of March to not having anything. I knew I needed to do something. So it really started as a conversation. And from there, I contacted the Coastal Jockeys Association, and that chairperson is MJ Belefeld, and he's been a wonderful support. He's really helped me with this whole campaign and providing me with advice on who are the people I should get in contact with. And we chatted about it. He asked me to explain what my motive or my ideas were, and I just really wanted to highlight the jock in every way possible, because racing means the world to many of us, and rightfully so. And the jockeys really needed support. I just needed to come up with something that I could put out there.
Did you do any investigation into who really needed support, what type of money they earned a month, and before you even started on this initiative?
To be honest, I didn't. I didn't look into who needed money, because I knew firsthand, through my circle of friends, that people were battling. And I from that, decided, even if I could help one person, it will make a difference. So I just went off with this idea. I kind of went into it like, full swing. I contacted various people in racing, because I obviously couldn't go out there and gather footage myself because of these restrictions. So I contacted people in racing, and luckily they lended their hand. So Andrew Bond was phenomenal in his response, and he was more than willing to comply, and he sent me a lot of amazing footage, hours of footage that I had to sit through and work out what would be best to put into the campaign. Gavin Pickford was amazing, and he helped me out a lot. And then what I did is I looked at the logs. I took roughly 20 jockeys, and I spent one evening contacting every single jockey, explaining what I wanted to do, and I sent 3 questions through to them, and I asked them to do a home video, whether they wanted to do it at home, whether they wanted to do it at a yard or at track work, wherever they felt most comfortable. And I just really wanted to highlight the jock and portray a different light to them. It's not always the winning and the glory. Men and women in our industry are suffering.
Yeah, so I watched it. It was a very good infomercial, if I can call it that. And Calvin Habib, who I'm his agent, was very eloquent in the way, and it was beautifully put together.
Thank you.
Did it gain traction amongst racing people?
Well, before I move forward, I would just like to the whole process. It wasn't an easy road. It does take a lot of time and putting the video together. I must thank a very close family friend of mine and their company, Beaumont, and he willingly spent 3 hours on a Zoom call with me, because he's not personally involved in racing. So I had to explain the order in which it would come across best, and he was more than willing to help me. So I really must thank him for his time and his contribution to this campaign. That's the first thing.
Okay. The second thing is obviously the money. You did this on a pro bono basis, and whatever money you got went to them.
Yeah. So this, so how it's all working now is obviously the whole campaign is basically to generate funds for the most vulnerable jockeys in South Africa. So to make it an even playing field, every single jockey got the message about the campaign, and they could choose whether they needed the support, so that, in terms of the relief fund. So they're actually still sending in motivational letters, stipulating why they need the support. And that's all through email. And then from there, we'll be able to distribute the funds.
It's very important now because they don't actually get paid till the 20th of June. So I think this month's going to be very difficult for quite a lot of jockeys who are towards the bottom of the ladder.
Exactly. And like I said, we haven't had racing since the 26th of March. So to have no form of income from the 26th of March right way through, some guys won't even get any rides now in June. It's very difficult. And receiving all these emails, obviously I can't disclose their names, but to every single man and woman, or all our jockeys that have come forward, I applaud them. It's extremely difficult to be in these situations, and I often get very emotional reading their emails and their motivational letters, because it takes a lot of pride and guts to come forward and ask for help. And I'm just so grateful that I can help them. And I'm so thrilled that we have racing this coming week, but realistically, this is when I need support even more, because if you can only have 12 jockeys in a race across 3 to 4 provinces, that's half of the jockeys that are actually registered on the jockeys right now, jockeys that are registered right now. So there are some guys that are still going to battle to get rides and to get the support, so they really, really need support now more than ever.
Kirra, I did a little investigation into the jockeys, and if I could just read it out to you, there are 87 jockeys registered on the NHRA website, and I took out the jockeys 40 to 60, and it looks like those guys would earn an average of about 25,000 Rand a month before tax, which really is not a lot of money when you consider most of them have got families, they've got overheads like houses, cars, insurance, medical aid, all these type of things that they have to pay for themselves. So you really have hit on a nerve with racing as far as this is concerned.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think even more so why I really wanted to do this is there's this preconceived idea of a jockey, that every jockey is wealthy, they drive fast cars, they have no expenses, their insurance comes from racing itself, so they shouldn't have to worry, their medical aid, so they don't have to worry about any expenses. But to be honest, Mr. Goodman, that's the furthest thing from the truth. I can't disclose any of these names, as I've said, but a lot of these guys are paying for extended families, their parents or their brother or sister. They've got children that they've got to send to school. They've got to put food on the table. They are paying for, their children's medical aid, their wife's medical aid, and it's very, very difficult. And not having any form of income, it's scary what they're actually going through. And I think a lot of people in racing, I've obviously gained some sort of criticism from this, which I can understand, because people don't necessarily know the jockey. They only assume that the jockey, when they see a jockey, they only see him coming past the winning line. They don't see any further than that. So I just wanted to use this campaign to highlight the jockey and just explain that they really do need our help.
Just to explain to us how helpful the jockeys themselves, the senior jockeys, some of them are quite wealthy. Have they come to the party? Have they helped you along?
They have. I have said that to any donor or to any person that I have contacted, I have said, if you're not in a position to financially contribute, please could you just spread the message. I think exposure on this is so important. And luckily, a lot of people have helped me in that sense, and they have spread the message, or they've personally donated. I've had trainers donate, I've had breeders donate, and the breeders themselves are struggling, and it's just so incredible that we're all coming together to support the jockey, which is so important.
Okay, so let me go forward with you, because obviously with racing starting and them starting to get an income on the 20th of this month, are you going to do it from here until the 20th?
So currently, the pool that I've generated, so the funds are meant to be sent out or received from the Backer Buddy campaign. So those are the people that the campaign is on. So the money should be coming in on the 10th of June. So from the 10th of June, we'll be able to distribute to jockeys that have put themselves forward. So I do encourage people, and I really, really would appreciate the support if people would continue supporting this campaign until the 10th of June. Just before I hopped on this interview with you, I checked the donation currently, and I'm thrilled that we are on 146,000, and my goal is 150. So after this, I'm going to increase it to 200,000, and I really hope that I gain the support from not only South Africa but around the world.
Well, I think that you'll find that Sporting Post will put this interview up, and hopefully let's go for 250, because when you think of it, if you can support 20 jockeys at 10 or 12,000 Rand each, it would be absolutely fantastic. And I think it would be a lifesaver for quite a lot of them.
I think so too. And I will try my best to keep promoting this campaign. Sporting Post have been incredible with helping me, and I have to thank Lance for that. He's been so willing to help me, get this campaign out there, as well as who else to contact at racing. I've got support from overseas, from family and friends, and they're spreading it amongst their extended friends. So, as well as TSA newsletter, which is Dane. He's been fantastic, and he interviewed me. I think I'm just going to keep going and just keep approaching multiple different people and just keep spreading the message, because I know that the jockeys appreciate it so much. And, every single email I receive, it just makes me so proud of what I've been able to achieve, not for myself, but for them, and how much, this will really, really help them.
Kirra, give us your email and your telephone number, if you just repeat it a couple of times so that people can write it down and anyone who's interested can get hold of you.
Sure. Would you like me to say it now?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so it's Kirra Kotzen at iCloud.com. I'll repeat that again. Kirra Kotzen at iCloud.com. And if you'd like to get hold of me, it's 071 4521 889. I'll repeat it, 071 4521 889. And you can find the campaign if you just type into Google, Save Our Jocks on Backer Buddy. You'll be able to find the link. You'll be able to find it on Sporting Post, on my own personal platform, which you can find me on Facebook, Kirra Kotzen. Anywhere really.
Well, Kirra, and that's Kirra for those of you that don't know there. Yes. I think it's amazing what you've done. You're a young lady. Are you studying at the moment?
I am. I'm completing a postgrad at the University of Cape Town.
Master's degree?
No, not yet. Not quite. So it's just, I've got a degree, and now this is just one level up, so an honours.
And what have you got a degree in?
I've got a degree currently in strategic brand communications, and my honours this year is in business communication. Well,
I congratulate you. I think it's a most amazing initiative, and I'm not surprised. I know your parents very well, and they produced two wonderful children. And for you to come up with this and follow this through the way you've done and get close to 150,000 in less than a month, I just think is absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much, Mr. Goodman. I really appreciate it. The timeline for this campaign has just been over a week. So Thursday actually marked a week. So I'm thrilled with support. And I thank every single donor. I've personally gone through the list and thanked people that have donated. I'll continuously do that. The last donation that's just come in is from Bass Racing. So thank you so much to them. I really, really appreciate it. I watch it like a hawk, and every single donation I receive, I jump with joy. And to be honest, you don't need to donate a large amount of money. Even a 50 rand. If 1,000 people put in a 50 rand, it makes a difference. So honestly, any amount, no matter the size, it's so appreciated.
Well, we'll spread the news and try and get you to the R250,000 mark. I think you've done an amazing job, as I said. And thank you so much for coming and chatting to us. And all the best to you and your family.
Thank you so much for allowing me to use your platform. I really, really do appreciate it.
Well, let's hope we get the traction we need. And Kirra, you sound like the type of young lady that we'd really like to have working and racing when you continued and finished your studies, because this is just an initiative that I'm gobsmacked at what you've done. Well done.
Oh, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Okay, well, everyone knows how to get hold of Kirra. Thank you so much for your time, and we will be following you with interest as to where you go. And as I say, enjoy the rest of it.
Thank you so much, and have a lovely afternoon.
And to you. Go out, Kirra.
Thank you. Okay, goodbye.
Right. Well, there you go. Now, isn't that amazing? I mean, here's a young lady who's 22 years old, obviously born and bred into racing, and she's taken an initiative like this and run with it. And obviously MJ Bielefeld and the Coastal Jockeys Association have done a lot to help her. But I just marvel at the amount of talent we have in racing that's untouched. Here's a person who really is inspirational in putting this thing together. I'm gobsmacked. Anyway, as I said, I love doing these things because I just think they're so good. And, you know, when we look back at our lives and think, my goodness gracious, we could have done things like this and they really would have helped people. I'm sure that there are many other people out there who do fantastic things for the industry, but these are the people that we should be nurturing. We should be growing them and building them into people that can be our mouthpiece further down the line. You know, we've had all these initiatives and they've never actually looked at doing these type of things. You know, and maybe some punters will come to the party. You know, we do podcast for all the race meetings, and I'm sure Glenn, as you say, quite agree, James, we need the punters to come to the party too. I'm sure that if you got hold of Interbet and asked them to put up your advert on Interbet Hollywood, you know, they're not short of money, these guys, and they really should be helping initiatives like this. So it's just a great thing. Now, for those of you out there, there's no more questions. I see tomorrow we start with racing. As I say, I will have my podcast or my preview up on the stream on Winning Ways show, so you'll be able to see what I like as far as the racing is concerned. I've studied the card. As I said, it's quite interesting to look at the card tomorrow because I'm sure speed will hold up. Those horses that show pace, as quick glance, Farland, well drawn with Anton Marcus aboard it, looked like one of those horses, but there he's trained on the farm with Doug Campbell. You wonder if he's had enough. Fitness is going to be another thing. So those are the two things I'm going to actually concentrate on in my preview tomorrow. And I would like you, as I said at the beginning of the show, 80% of the people that watch this show are not subscribed. So please press the subscribe button. Help us get this show to get traction. We're going to do a service now which is absolutely free, and that is that we're doing a podcast for every single race meeting in Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal. Interbet through Mark van Deventer to the Western Cape, so I don't want to tread on his toes, and he's an expert there. So please, guys, subscribe. It costs nothing to subscribe. You press the button, and if you're on Google, you subscribe immediately, and then you press the bell and you'll get notifications when my shows are up. So thank you all for listening to the show, for being involved, and thank you, Glenn, and your wonderful daughter. She's incredible, and I mean, I'm at a loss for words, and I really find it quite difficult to interview her. She's so bright and willing to try and help in something that actually doesn't really concern her at all, to look after battling jockeys. And I feel for a lot of those guys. I know that you know, they're maligned because people think they're rich. You know, a lot of them are rich, and hopefully they'll come to the party and put in a couple of 10,000ers, those that have got money, to help this initiative, because it is a fantastic initiative. For all of you, that watched the show today and those that watch the show in future, remember, please subscribe. And thanks to Kirra for coming on the show and fitting this one in. We weren't going to do a show today, but I'm very happy to be able to have done one. And as I say, tomorrow at about 10 o'clock, you'll be able to watch my podcast preview of the racing at Greybull. So until tomorrow, you have a great evening.